You got a minute, or am I interrupting?
No, you're not interrupting.
I'm sorry to hear that.
What?
There are no startling headlines in the morning paper.
Well, what'd you expect?
The payoff, Robert. Need I remind you, Bobby's trial date was canceled yesterday.
Well, I can fill you now if you like.
Oh, shall I take off my coat?
Why not if you're going to roll up your sleeves?
You gonna put me to work or what?
I am. I'm about to get a confession in the Brock murder. All in all, I couldn't have asked for a better set of clues. The dress, the plaque, the gloves, and the purse. Almost as good as fingerprints.
Then why the gaslighting? You could have brought her in on the evidence alone.
Confession is not only good for the soul, it's also better for us. I mean, let's face it, nobody actually saw her shoot Brock. Nobody actually saw her in the vicinity of the penthouse. I mean, her attorney could come up with a half a dozen different scenarios, starting with Brock shot at Ginny, she fled the penthouse.
Well, I am just worried about this department being nailed for entrapment.
Oh, forget it.
You know, the public is down on that sort of thing, or haven't you noticed?
Look, you know as well as I do that it is not entrapment. I never set her up to commit a crime. I simply showed her a plaque and gave her a reminder of a blood-stained dress.
A reminder.
I mean, you know, only fair that she should know what she's up against. Not entrapment. Not even gaslighting, if you want to be literal.
Really?
Look, I care to call it encouragement. Incentive to confess of her own free will, which is exactly what's going to happen when her husband brings her in here.
Good show, Robert.
Well, that took you long enough.
Who's my competitor?
A lawyer? We don't know yet.
Well, I'll have enough competition as it is with the defendant. Ginny Blake definitely has a flair for the dramatic.
True. But for the moment, you have some routine to clear up.
And what's that?
Bobby Brock.
Oh, that.
That. I'm referring to the papers dismissing all the charges of murder.
Yeah, all in good time.
I want it done now.
Well, what's the big hurry?
I don't want her to suffer a moment longer than is absolutely necessary. Now, she is totally unaware of the Ginny factor, but when that confession comes out, we know exactly what's going to happen, don't we, huh?
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I'll start things
Say no
rolling.
more. I appreciate it. Well,
Commissioner, I'd like a word with you.
I don't think we have anything to talk about.
Oh, all right then. I'll just talk to your colleague here. Mr.
I
Morgan.
doubt that Mr. Morgan has anything to say.
Not in my department.
Uh-huh. You know, there's a rumor going around, Commissioner, that there's going to be a major break in this Brock murder case.
Try another bait. You're fishing.
Oh, come on, Commissioner. I'm just telling you what I heard.
Since when do you believe everything you hear?
I don't. Not unless, of course, it comes straight from the horse's mouth. Now,
Sorry.
Now, come on, Commissioner. What are you trying to do here? You saving a big scoop for the preferred members of the media? Is that what you're trying to do
Whatever
here?
gave you that idea, you know I just love you all.
Oh, yeah. We all get the same handouts, too, right?
What can I say? I always try to be fair with the press.
Uh-huh. Well, I'd have to give you a D on fairness when it comes to the print media there, Commissioner.
Well, then
you know, as a matter of fact, I think that would be great for an editorial, don't you?
I guess I have been helpful after all.
You hadn't been helpful, you've been blatant.
Well, I'll read about it tomorrow. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Commissioner, I'm talking about Jenny Blake here.
What about her?
Ever since this case started, she's had open access to this office. Now, all you've given the newspaper is just PR stuff, while Jenny Blake gets to go anywhere, take her cameras anywhere. I don't call that fairness, I call that favoritism.
Do you?
Robert, if you know, for God's sake, let Bobby off the hook.
Well, you've got every right to be impatient. I just want you to hang in there a moment longer.
Why?
Well, it'll be premature telling you now.
Robert, Bobby's been through hell.
But not terribly so.
What does that mean?
Meaning that I want you both to wait in the visitor's room for a bit. Then you'll have your answers.
Are we ready? I'll tell Scorpio we're here.
No,
Jenny.
I want to tell him. I'd like that.
Miss Blake.
Come in.
Congratulations, Commissioner. Your methods worked. I'm here to make a confession. Consider it a souvenir.
I'm not a collector, but thanks.
I was going to have it engraved for you to honor your success. But I didn't have time.
That's your complete confession.
Yes.
I have some questions. How long after you shot Brock did you dispose of the objects?
That question is inappropriate. You're making the assumption that she did dispose of objects.
For the record, I'm referring to the dress Miss Blake wore the night of the party, the plaque, the gloves, and the purse. All of these items, Mr. Madison, are in evidence. Now will you instruct your client to answer the question?
You may answer.
What was the question?
You dumped the incriminating evidence in the garbage. When?
The day after.
Day after what?
The day after the shooting.
Later on, did you take steps to assure that Bobby Brock would be convicted of murdering her husband?
That question is vague and broad.
Can she answer it anyway?
I'm instructing her not to.
Then I'll rephrase it. Did you drug Bobby Brock and then slash her husband's scrapbook?
Yes.
For the record, I'd like to underscore certain aspects of this confession. Namely, Mr. Brock's threats to Miss Blake about the Virginia Geller record, Mr. Brock's propensity to violence, and Mr. Brock shooting at my client on the night in question.
So noted, Mr. Madison. But I suggest you do not attempt to try your case right now. You'll be given your day in court. I think we'll break. I'll send out for some coffee and you can type up the confession.
Okay. Break.
It's quite a waiting game you played with us.
You'll find it was worth it.
Let's hear.
You'll be getting formal notification of this, but I wanted to tell you in person. Bobby, you've been exonerated of the murder charge. Ginny Blake killed your husband.
What?
I have her confession here.
Ginny?
Incredible.
You want to take a moment to recover?
Ginny. No, Robert, I don't believe that.
Yeah, well, the shock is understandable. I've been working with it and putting it together, piece at a time.
Well, now I understand why you had Bobby in limbo for so long.
My regrets, Bobby.
She was pretending to be my friend.
Good actress.
Ginny, I had drinks. We had lunch together. She's been very nice to me.
Not so nice, Bobby. She was the one who slashed your husband's scrapbook and drugged you.
Drugged me?
Why? What in hell was her motive?
DL dug up a rap sheet on her from a Florida prison. Her name then was Virginia Geller. Brock was threatening to destroy her marriage and career with the information.
Blackmail.
No. He just wanted to ruin her.
Why me? Why try to frame me?
Don't look for an answer there. You're never going to find it.
Robert? Thank you. I'm free.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell me about Ginny's lawyers. Any good?
He's excellent.
What's his name? Brett Madison. He's young, tough, bright, and he knows criminal law.
Do you think the prosecution will have any trouble handling him?
Wouldn't be at all surprised.
Even after that case you've got against her?
The other day in my office during the confession, Madison demonstrated that he knew what he was talking about. The DA's going to have to go all out to convict Ginny.
You're not saying there's any possibility that she could get off?
It's always a possibility. Morgan better be prepared for anything here. There's no telling what Madison has up his sleeve. So, that is the Ginny Blake story. Now, if you were the jury...
If I were the jury, I'd wonder what in the world her lawyer could do to prevent a conviction.
I agree. It looks like a rock-solid case.
But on second thought,
Yes.
I thought that you couldn't bring up past convictions during a trial.
In this particular case, the DA is allowed, simply because the Geller rap sheet figures very heavily in the motive. Ginny didn't want that story to come out, so she shot Brock.
That lawyer has his work cut out for him. Maybe she should just throw herself on the mercy of the court.
Well, if I were him, I wouldn't do that, and I doubt that he will.
So you do see a way out for her.
Mm-hmm. So does Madison. The other day in my office, he kind of tipped his hand. I have a feeling I'll go for justifiable homicide.
On what grounds?
The grounds that she is a victim.
She's a victim? What about Brock? Not to mention Bobby.
Brock and Bobby aren't on trial.
Yeah, Bobby by a hair's breadth.
Yeah, well, Madison could build a pretty good case around the fact that she was persecuted by a madman. I mean, let's face it, there's medical evidence to prove that the guy wasn't all there. She suffered the persecution of the damned because of blackmail.
Oh, come on. Blackmail and murder are completely different. You can't condone murder.
Oh, wait a minute. We're playing prosecutor here.
Well, what are you doing?
Meaning what?
You sound like you're working for Ginny.
If that had been the case, I wouldn't have gone all that to get a confession from her. I mean, we would be sitting here now discussing Bobby's defense.
Surely, Ginny's gaslighting of Bobby is going to really work against her.
Yeah. It's the one damning piece of evidence against her. It undercuts the idea that she was a passive victim. That's probably what will convict her.
You must be exhausted. I've never seen you work so hard on a case before.
I've had it.
You need to enjoy yourself for a change.
Well, yeah, I was thinking, Donnelly's back in town. He'll be back for a couple of days now. Why don't we go and see him?
Wonderful idea.
I'd like to see this new communications equipment the WSB's installed.
And I'd like to ask him how his trip was. Come on, let's go over and surprise him. Ask him out for lunch.
Let's do it. I know he'll like it.
Well, look, gentlemen, just because I've been out of town for a while does not mean that this company comes to a standstill. I do not make money when those ships are sitting at a dock. Now, I want to see all the current bills of lading. We have a lot of ground to make up for. You got that? Holly. How are you? How are you? Good to see you.
Having a bad time, mate?
No. Finishing up.
All right.
Just trying to get squared away after my business trip, that's all.
See?
Some introductions are in order here. We've got Matt Hines, you know. He's the operational manager. This is Sam Morgan, my new financial whiz. And you remember.
Ah, yes, Professor Estevez. Pleasure to see you. Pleasure.
On vacation from the university?
Permanent vacation.
Actually, I lured him away to join me in the world of commerce because I plan to use his South American art expertise to help me in the import-export end of the business.
Yes, I wish you well. Thank you very much. It's quite a vacation, thanks to Sean.
I see, sir. Well, thank you, Professor. Please.
So, where's all this equipment the WSB's installed? I can't wait to lay my eyes on the state-of-the-art communications technology that's currently rolling around.
Now, wait. First of all, I want to find out how was your trip.
Well, it's strictly business, Holly, you know, inside of airports, offices, warehouses, that sort of thing, routine.
No time for a little fun?
Much too busy to socialize, I'm afraid.
Well, I hope it wasn't Paris, Rome, or London.
Don't know.
That busy?
That busy, swamped.
You know, back in the good old days, I couldn't imagine you setting foot in Paris without sticking your face over into the left bank and checking out the Chez Margot.
I'll tell you something. I wasn't within 200 miles of Paris.
You should plan your itinerary better.
Maybe I should hire a business agent to organize my life.
Maybe a travel agent. Maybe a talent agent. I don't know.
Any kind of an agent.
You've done a lot of work on this place. I really like some of these artists.
Oh, well, those are just some of the knickknacks I picked up from...
Knick-knack, pass on. Do you hear that, Robert?
Well, I like to have things around me, make me feel at home.
Now, look, come on, enough of this small talk. Let's get down to the real important business, like where are we going to have lunch?
I'm afraid I'm going to have to beg off of that one.
Oh, Sean,
No,
why?
I'm much too busy, Holly. But I do have a few minutes to spare to show your husband my state-of-the-art equipment supplied to me by our former employers.
I insist.
Okay. But first, I think congratulations were in order.
For moi?
For moi? Hey, I read in the newspaper that you broke the Brock case. The culprit turned out to be Ginny Blake. Who'd have ever guessed that one, huh? Except Sherlock here.
It's freezing outside when the sun goes down. I think we have had enough winter, and I am certainly ready for a new season. It'll be spring before you know it.
Hey, what a surprise.
Hello, Robert. I just came by to personally thank you both for everything that you have done for me. Your investigating saved my life.
Still on the job, love. Hey, let us see.
No, I think that you went way above and beyond the call of duty for my case. And I want you to know I really appreciate it.
Glad to do it.
If it weren't for you two, I'd be in deep trouble right now.
Well, the truth would have come out sooner or later.
But I don't know how much longer I could have waited for it. I'm just so glad everything worked out. Holly, thank you for your part, too. I was so curious about Jimmy's plea at the arraignment this night. Oh, not particularly. Whatever she pleads, I hope she's unsuccessful at her trial. I want Ginny Blake convicted.
Well, I understand why you're hard on her.
I'm not nearly as hard on her as she was on me. I'm sure she would have let me rot in prison if you two hadn't exposed her.
Could be right.
I know. And I think she deserves to pay for it. No, I'm not about to forgive Ginny Blake. Ever.
Don't you like the omelette?
What?
The omelette, don't you like it?
I don't know. I haven't tried it.
Well, they're not especially good cold.
Rick Weber.
What about him?
He's another one.
Another what?
Another one who I've heard.
I'm not following you.
First Bobby, then Rick.
You mean because you arrested Bobby for Brock's murder and now Jimmy?
Right.
You were just doing your job.
Lately, I'm finding that increasingly difficult to do.
Why?
Because it's always affecting my friends.
Oh, don't be silly. You just solved a very difficult case. And you saved Bobby from going to jail. You should be on top of the world today.
Really? Then how come I don't feel that way?
Never seen you like this before.
Another exciting aspect of my personality.
Oh, I wouldn't call it exciting. It's more like disturbing.
Well, I'm hardly over the edge.
No, not... I mean, it's disturbing to me.
Well, I don't mean to be down.
You don't have to apologize, sweetheart. It's just I don't like to see you like this. You know what it is that's wrong?
I don't, really. I mean, I guess I'm restless.
Well, that adrenaline that you needed to solve the case just hasn't gone yet.
Maybe.
It's just let down after the case.
What do you mean?
Well, there's no more planning, no more strategy meetings. All of a sudden, there's nothing to do, I understand.
Look, you know, I've finished cases before. I never felt like this. Maybe I'm bored.
With what? Me?
How could you possibly think I could ever get bored with you?
Well, I'm not totally without insecurity.
You need have none in that area.
Well, what is it then? Is it Port Charles?
What do you mean?
Well, after Mexico, maybe it doesn't seem very glamorous.
True, it's not, but it does have other... It has another appeal to me.
But really, you know, if you ever do want to move, you just tell me. I'll drop everything and I'll live wherever you want to.
You mean that?
Even Australia.
Wow, that's devotion. No, poor Charles, much the same way that Luke did. You know, he's got a sense of loyalty, community. Poor Charles was like home to me.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because it's home to me, too. We've got to get you out of this sad mood.
Well, I'm sad. I'm just restless.
Well, maybe when you get into the office today, something there will cheer you up. That'll be something interesting.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm not going into the office.
You know, you're working home today?
The computer's on the fritz, so I'm waiting for a WSB guy to come around and fix it.
Well, maybe after it's fixed.
Then I've got to do all this cleaning up for the DA and his upcoming case.
Oh, sounds like you're going to be busy if the trial starts on Friday.
If it's on Friday.
Do you think Ginny's lawyer is going to ask for postponement?
Definitely. They need all the time they can get to prepare a defense.
I just hope Bobby doesn't have to be involved in it anymore.
My, don't we look smashing. Off to Delphina's for some shopping?
Don't make me out to be such a dilettante just because you're bored and grouchy this morning.
Sorry. Well, where are you going?
To the hospital. It's Bobby's first day back.
Should be a rough one.
Well, that's what I thought, so I thought I'd go over and give her a little moral support.
Good idea. Give her my love.
I will.
Scorpio.
Robert, Lee Baldwin, morning.
How are you, Mr. Mayor?
Well, I'm fine. About the first day in weeks I haven't had a hectic day. Finally getting around to calling you to talk to you about something I've been meaning to talk to you about.
What's that?
Well, it's rather personal, Robert. You know, I called your office. They told me you were at home, and I'd kind of like to stop by. I assume you're freed up now that you have solved the Brock murder.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm not goofing off over here. I mean, I've got some trouble with the computer.
Robert, you don't have to convince me you are a conscientious commissioner. And by the way, congratulations on the splendid work you did on that case.
Thank you.
I'll see you in a bit, huh?
Yeah.
What did Lee want?
He's dropping by to discuss something personal with me.
Well, I wonder what that's all about.
Haven't a clue.
Well, if it's anything romantic, adventurous, or intriguing, count me in.
What if it's boring, tedious, and backbreaking?
Well, that's what police commissioners are appointed for.
Thank you.
Just kidding.
By the same token, I hope he has an interesting proposal for me.
Like what?
Anything to save me from the rigors and restrictions of being a police commissioner.
Heard a lot of stories about you, Mr. Scorpio.
Have you?
Yes, sir. You're quite a legend at WSB.
Well, how long have you been with the WSB?
Just over a year, sir.
Get to see much action?
I couldn't say, sir.
No, I guess you couldn't. Sorry. Well, I guess you've seen some pretty interesting cases. I mean, being a computer whiz and all.
Between me and you, sir, it's been the most exciting year of my life. I took a slug in the abdomen down in Nicaragua a few months ago, so I'm doing R&R fixing computers now.
See if you can fix mine.
What seems to be the problem, sir?
Well, this blinking light circuitry here seems to indicate there's a problem. I'd like to check it out if you can.
Anything else, sir?
Check all channels, especially Interpol. Excuse me.
Hello, Robert.
Come in.
Hope I'm not disturbing your work.
As a matter of fact, you're saving me for some paperwork regarding the Ginny Blake case.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised somebody took a shot at Brock, but I never thought it would be her. Have you seen Rick?
Yeah. He, came in when she confessed.
It's just horrible. I think that woman has meant nothing but grief to him.
Seems like it.
I mean, I think of Leslie, the wonderful marriage the two of them had. And he just doesn't deserve this much tragedy, you know.
No. Can I get you anything?
No. I'll get right down to our business. It's about your job.
Anything wrong?
No, on the contrary, everything is right. You know, it's going to be 2 years this fall since you were appointed police commissioner, Robert. You realize that? Has it been that long? Yeah. And you have done a superb job, Robert, and everybody in Port Charles wants you to stay on. Well, I'm a long way off from making that decision. Well, I want you to start thinking about it right now, Robert. Yeah, what's the hurry? Well, frankly, I'll just sleep a lot better if I know I can count on you to be on the team here in Port Charles. And, Robert, there are a couple of changes I'd like to talk to you about, well, in the department. What about it? Well, I was thinking that perhaps the police department is operating too much as an isolated unit. Now, I thought we could start perhaps by assigning some man as liaison between the police department and the mayor's office. Now, what do you think of that?
Hello, Holly. How are you, Georgia? Oh, I'm fine. I hope you're not sick.
Oh, no, I can see Bobby.
Just missed her. She's in Dr. Hardy's office with Rick.
Weber?
Mm-hmm. Dr. Hardy wanted to talk to both of them. Yes, I know.
How is she?
Well, she's putting up a good front, but she's not like the old Bobby. Her eyes look so sad, and she doesn't have that wonderful glow she always had.
She had a rough time then.
Horrible. I don't see how she got the strength to go through it. I really don't.
Well, we're all going to have to help her, Georgia.
Count me in.
We'll get that old sparkle back in her eyes again.
Right.
Dr. Robert Troutman, OR staff. Dr. Robert Troutman, OR staff.
And, Robert, if you decide to stay on as commissioner, I think we can manage getting back that limo you like to use.
I'd rather like that.
Look, I can't tell you how much I want you to stay on here. The people of Port Charles want you to stay on.
I think you've done a pretty good job of telling me, Lee.
I wish I could be sure that I did a good enough job to convince you.
Food for thought.
No, wait a minute. Add this to it, will you? There are real opportunities for you here. There's a future for you here. There's no telling how long I'm going to want to be mayor. How long the people are going to want me to be mayor.
Of course they're going to want you. Anyway, Lee, politics just isn't my game.
Well, I just want you to know, Robert, there are opportunities about you.
I'll remember that.
Well, it's been an exciting year and a half, hasn't it, Robert?
Yeah. It's had its moments.
Yeah. Take that business with Grant Putnam and the disc. Now, that was something.
Rather like that caper.
Caper? God, you call that a caper?
Well, pleasant little diversion.
Now, come on now, that was complicated and it was dangerous. Well, your own wife was in danger. But you were calm and cool throughout.
You got to be if you want to win out against the DVX.
And you did, Robert. Now, you did. And then there's that business with Grant Putnam coming back to town. Now, that was bizarre business, really.
Yeah,
Very. Yeah, but you figured it out.
well, with some help from Celia.
Well, some, yeah, but you did most of the legwork. I know that. And then there's the Beatrice murder. Now, you set a record in solving that one.
Lee, you're going to give me a swell head.
I want you to stay on as commissioner, Robert. This whole town wants you to stay on.
Well, I appreciate the compliments, and you've certainly given me a lot to think about.
Well, I guess there's nothing more I can say, but how soon will you give me the decision, huh?
Look, if I decide against it, I'll give you ample warning.
Okay. Now, how does Holly feel about the job, huh?
Given the chance, you'd take it away from me.
I bet she'd be very good at it, too.
Matter of fact, we've had several conversations about it lately.
Oh, good, because I want you to discuss it with her. You know, I think it might be worth my while if I took her out to lunch just to make sure she is on my side. I'll see you.
Bye-bye, Lee.
was on your side. I just couldn't tell you.
But now I understand it.
I hated the idea that you didn't know about Jimmy, and that you still thought you were going to be on trial for Dial's murder. But we had to keep it a secret.
It's over now. And you know, Holly, the one good thing that's come out of this whole messy affair is that you and I have gotten close again. I'm glad for that.
So am I. I'm so sorry that we haven't spent more time together.
We used to make the time. Remember when you were growing up, Luke?
We had a lot of fun then, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh, that seems like a long time ago.
I'll never forget how devastated I was when we thought that Luke was dead. And then when the government was going to deport me, you were one of the few friends who offered to help me then.
You needed friends to help you in those days.
And when I was expecting Luke's baby, there was a time now when I had nowhere to turn, no one to turn to. But you were there for me then, and I'll never forget that.
Sometimes I forget that we can, child.
I wanted to die, and I missed him. But you helped me through that, too.
And you returned the favor when I had my hysterectomy.
I wonder sometimes. Wonder what?
Things might have been different for DL and me if we'd had a child.
Different in what way?
A baby might have brought us closer together.
I don't think that a baby will bring a couple closer together if they're not close in the first place.
Maybe. But if I had a baby now, I'd have someone to love. And I'd have someone to love me back without walking all over me.
Is your relationship with DL really that bad?
It wasn't great.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Isn't that what girl talks is for?
Do you think you were ever really in love with DL?
I think so. When we first met, he was very charming. We had fun.
But do you think that most of the troubles that you had were caused by the brain tumor? And that certainly did affect his behavior.
No, I think it was more than that. There was something missing between us, Holly. There always was.
What do you think?
Whatever it is that brings two people closer together through anything, that common bond, something to share. That's why I think maybe if we'd had a baby. After my operation, it really went downhill for us.
Anyway, I want to get my name on the dotted line right now.
Well, it's a long way out.
Thinking the same thing.
You're not very excited at the prospect of being police commissioner for another 2 years, are you?
That's all right.
You're honest now.
Not really. But that's just my mood for the day, I think.
Still feeling restless, are you?
Sort of. I've been thinking a lot about our future today.
Oh, really? Tell me.
Well, what you said earlier about, living in Port Charles, how much we both like it.
I do. Our friends are here. It's a nice place to live.
A lot of good memories. It's where I met you.
That's exactly how I feel. Even more so after talking to Bobby today.
How was she?
She was a bit melancholy, but then that's to be expected, I suppose.
Bitter?
Well, she did a very good job of hiding it from me, but yes, I think she is a bit. But she is so sweet. Such a dear.
Yeah. Bobby always had a big heart.
You know, I always feel I can depend on her, no matter what. That's another reason why I like Port Charles so much, because of friends like her that we have here.
Then we are sold on staying in Port Charles.
Well, like I said before, it's up to you. I'll go wherever you want to.
I'd like to stay.
Well, good. It's settled then.
I mean, it's not as if a person can't get away whenever they want to, right?
In what way?
Well, I was thinking about something else today.
Yeah?
Remember when Valentine was here?
I knew it. It's Sean, isn't it? You want to join up the WFC again and go down and
Wait a minute. Look, don't get your knickers in a twist, all right? You know, I said I was thinking about it.
Well, it seems to me that if you really cared about Port Charles, you'd stay on the job and keep the crime off the street like you have been.
Go. Darling, right. Now, at least working with the WSB, I wouldn't be spying on my friends.
Well, you'd be doing worse things.
Holly, true?
Can you even consider joining the WSB again? Suppose we had children and you were off in Istanbul somewhere or something like that.
Whoa, back up. Children?
Well, I presume that you and I will be having children one day.
Well, I think it's something we should talk about, Hmm?
Well, I think it's something that one shouldn't really talk about, actually.
Huh?
Well, let's see if you can unfix my knickers.
Oh, not the chicken suit again. No.
Expert at fixing computers for this disaster cleaning up after.
What are you doing with that?
You're trying to help.
When have you been so into cleaning?
Well, the repairman left a mess. I had this stupid idea that you'd appreciate it.
Sorry.
What's the matter?
Force of habit, I guess.
Well, it's not a very nice one. So what do you mean, habit?
Well, this case is a sensitive issue to me.
Why?
Because once upon a time, it used to be my best friend.
I don't understand.
Look,
Ah, spy equipment.
how do you know?
Well, I've been around this kind of stuff before.
I keep forgetting your rather dubious past.
I like to think of it how you think of yours, which is adventure. I've never seen this kind of bugging device before.
Because it's new.
Oh, my family could have used this.
And I suppose you know what these are.
Mm-hmm. Lockpicks. Have you, sir?
Spare me the details.
Sure. You go on and on with Sean about your adventures, and that's okay.
Well, the WSB was involved in legitimate work. The Cassadine business with Luke and Laura. Yeah, they were the guys.
I'm sure it was very exciting.
No, I reckon you're going to get a kick out of seeing this stuff again.
And I'm sure you're going to show it to him.
Well, there's nothing wrong with remembering good times.
But you seem to be going on and on about it so much nowadays.
Maybe I'm getting old.
No, maybe you're just getting bored.
I can't imagine why. I have plenty to do.
Well, then you've got to get on with it. Reliving past things isn't going to help you deal with present ones. With your new attitude.
Albert, come on in.
Sure. Haven't I interrupted anything? Professor Ezra?
Mercifully, you are business, you know.
I think that's my cue to leave. Very nice to see you again.
Sure. I'll see you later.
Okay. Remember this?
Oh, yes, a marvelous bag of tricks.
Dug it up the other day. Thought some of the stuff might bring back some memories.
Yeah, it all does. Don't you have better things to do than come over here and reminisce with me?
Well, the cop job isn't going to fall apart because I'm up there for a couple of hours.
Really? You're beginning to make sounds like you want to change jobs, old friend.
What's that?
Something coming in from the WSB headquarters. I better get that.
You mind if I, listen in?
I'm sorry, Robert, but it's privileged information.
Yeah, but who knows? Leave me out, will you?
Sorry for the long interruption.
That's all right. I found something to entertain yourself. So, why would an international hitman like Carlos be coming to Port Charles? What? You should know better than to exclude me, Sean. You know the terribly curious nature I have.
Up of a gun, you heard every word.
Every word.
Oh, nice job.
Couldn't resist. Couldn't resist.
I'm beginning to worry about you.
What's that?
Oh, I don't know. Coming over here and leaving a very important job to play spy games with me.
Or working that play.
Really is play for you, isn't it?
Always was a great big game. Interesting. Serious. But a game.
A game, huh? Police commissioner, isn't it?
That's a job.
A job that your heart obviously isn't in. How long do you have to go on this job of yours?
Lee Baldwin came by the other day. Wants to know if I'm going to resign. The commission's up in fall.
I don't think you're going to last that long.
I always finish what I start.
Well, then you think you're not resigning. Why don't you also think about going undercover again? With me. Like the old days.
Don't think I'm not tempted.
Precisely what I'm trying to do.
I couldn't.
Why not?
Polly would be dead against me.
Oh, I thought about the future adventuresome spirit in nature.
The only way that I could do that would be if you agreed to take her into WSC as well. Forget it.
Well, you think about my offer anyway, huh?
Yeah, I will.
Good.
And I do have to get to headquarters.
You drop in anytime.
Tell me what happens when Carlos comes in.
Oh, I think I might let you try and figure that out on your own. Be more fun for you. You keep Howard for me, huh?
Yeah.
Take care, buddy.
What's your way? Thanks, man, it's dinner. Nothing? What am I being punished for?
Over and go. Things on his way, we can get him to sleep.
I'm not overweight.
Oh, he's lying down.
I didn't want you to go on the diet.
That's what means a sort of a cleansing routine.
Well, whatever you want to call it. I want some real food-type food that looks like food. I mean, I've had a hard day in the office.
Oh, he was in the office all day, though, of course.
Checking up on me.
Oh, I was just trying to send you my love. So, if I know you won't take another room.
How do you know that?
Because I know you're much too crazy about me, for one thing. And for another thing, I know you too well. You probably reformed during those old WSB days.
Guilty as charged.
You've gotten awfully sentimental about the good old days, haven't you?
No, it's just a light diversion before the grim business of the Blake trial starts on Friday.
What have you in store for that?
Well, good year. He wants me to do some undercover work with him.
WSB?
Of course, for the WSB.
Well, but people live in town. People working for the WSB shouldn't be mad. What are you going to do, go to jail?
Oh, sure. However, I would like the one I've got in good working order. And you're going to hurt yourself working after that.
Oh, you're doing it right?
To start with, you're doing it alone.
Well, really, I think I'm going to have to practice being alone if you're going to do a work
Yes.
with the WSB.
Want to get the old juices flowing? Work on this.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What are you wearing a hat for?
I have a head cold.
But it's not cold in here.
All right.
You changing your image?
My hairdresser got a speeding ticket. Took it
You
out of
got
me.
scalped, huh?
Yeah, well. Speaking of getting scalped, you have that I'm out for blood look in your eye.
Oh, I got a feeling I'm going to win this one, and if I do, it'll be the first step.
First step to what?
Well, I'm thinking of running for the state senate next fall.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
And Jenny Blake's conviction won't hurt me a bit.
No? No?
I dare say it's going to get a lot of media attention.
Thanks to you, I have a solid case.
Yeah, well, Blake's attorney has shattered solid cases before.
Oh, not this time. Today, Brett Madison will learn how it feels to lose. Is something disturbing you, Robert? A guilty verdict in today's trial will certainly help my campaign for the state senate. Now, you don't seem to be ecstatically and elated.
Well, if the Albany's what you want, Ken, then I hope that's what you get.
Well, it is for the first step, but there'll be others later.
You gotta pardon me if I'm less than enthusiastic. It's just that I regret using other people's problems as a stepping stone.
It's the system, Robert. I use it, but I didn't invent it. Hell, we all use it.
Yeah, well, sometimes the system backfires. I mean, you got a conviction, a positive conviction in the Grant Andrews case, but it was thrown out. The guy was framed.
In the Andrews case, I went with the evidence that I had, which incidentally came largely from you.
True. At the time, I thought that Andrews was guilty myself.
So did the jury, but there was no onus on you when it became obvious that he was framed.
I suppose not. I guess we know in this case that we're going after a guilty party, one that wasn't framed. Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised to see you're still here. What you do in court?
Yeah, well, running a bit late.
Well, I'll come back later then.
Jet, come on in. No problem. So, I hear that you bought the Brock penthouse. I had a penthouse in that building once.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Good view.
Oh, it's a shame you moved to the Flatlands.
Yeah, well, less exciting, I guess, but time that I sort of came down to earth.
Yeah, it's too bad, because we could have been neighbors, would have been more convenient.
Yeah. Well, I can think of one person that wouldn't regard that as a blessing.
Oh, you mean a little wife?
Oh, she'll be still happy to come and visit you. As will I. So, when do we visit Casa Donnelly North?
You mean Casa Donnelly? Are you kidding? That place looks like a Hong Kong condo.
Oh, I'm sure you'll adapt nicely.
No way. As a matter of fact, I'm going over there now to see about some redecorating. What'd you do, get a haircut?
What makes you think that?
Oh, I was just remembering Rome, that's all.
So, you're really starting to settle down, aren't you? I mean, next bit you'll be getting married and all.
Ho, 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 ho. I'm not that ready to settle down. Aren't you worried about getting to court? Hmm?
And especially?
Why not? It's your case. You broke it wide open.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
Oh, come on, Robert. I know you pretty well. What's got you so down?
That obvious?
Well, to a working buddy, yes.
Well, Ken Morgan came in here this morning. The guy was on cloud 9. Conviction here's going to propel him straight into the Senate.
Well, it was ever thus.
Knock over a bottle, win a Cupid doll, or a trip to Albany.
Sound a little disillusioned with your work, old buddy.
Only between old friends.
Uh-huh.
Incidentally, speaking of work, the WSB alerted you to Carlos turning up here. Has he?
Oh, yes, they did, old eagle ear.
Yeah?
I've checked all the incoming flights and the local hotels, but no such luck so far.
How do you know he's not already here? The guy was pretty good at disguises, as I recall.
Oh, yeah? Tell me about it.
Rome. Now, he got away from you in Rome. I never did hear the end of that. Well, what happened? How did he do it?
He disguised himself as a nun.
Ah, they were the great days, Sean.
Yeah, they were great days, and you sound like you're itching to get back to them. So I'm going to mention it one more time. WSB would be happy to get you back. Hell, they'd roll out the red carpet. You've been thinking about it?
I admit it's crossed my mind, but my roots are here.
Meaning Holly is here. Think she could ever handle you getting back in the harness? Being away week after week? Living from moment to moment, usually in danger?
Few wives could.
That's why the WSB has a golden rule. Agents never marry.
And it makes a lot of sense.
Uh-huh.
Now I've got to get out of court, otherwise Morgan's going to be wondering where his star witness is.
Well, walk you over there.
Carlos dressed as a nun, eh?
Yeah. He's fingering his worry beads right under our noses.
They were the days, weren't they?
They were the great days.
You never could wear a hat, you know that? You
That's
never
right, you
wear
can't
any
wear
good
a
wearing
hat.
hat. And you could do it a haircut, too.
Really?
You have a haircut like mine.
No, I don't want a haircut like yours.
You know, as I recall, Howlis used to dress up as a bum. Maybe you should check out the waterfront.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Well, I've got a few canaries down there. If you ask me nicely, maybe I'll help you out.
Well, all right, that would be nice, too. And speaking officially, your help is greatly appreciated, Robert, especially now that you're in disguise.
Will you cool it with the hair jokes, huh?
All right, I'm sorry. It's just that when you rejoin the WSB, you go right undercover. I'll see you.
Not soon.
The defense is claiming not guilty by reason of justifiable homicide, Your Honor. And to that we respond, if that is true, why didn't the defendant call the police the night she committed her deed? We will further show in direct testimony that at the very moment Virginia Blake Weber snuffed out a life, Bobby Brock was lying there, injured and unconscious. Did the supposedly justified killer go to her aid? Did she think that her victim might only be wounded and that prompt medical attention might save his life? No, she did none of these things, as she states in her own confession. Well then, what did she do after killing? She willfully and maliciously tried to frame Bobby Brock as the murderer. This was willful, this was ruthless, and this was premeditated. Finally, the state will prove conclusively that Virginia Blake Weber knew the police didn't need her confession, not with an airtight case against her. And that, Your Honor, is the only reason she finally confessed. Now, we intend to prove, Your Honor, that this woman, this convicted felon, this killer, is guilty as charged. Guilty of murder in the second degree. Now then, Commissioner, you obtained the criminal record on Virginia Geller from the Miami Police Department, is that correct?
I did. It's called a rap sheet.
Thank you, and you traced this rap sheet on Virginia Geller to the woman on trial here today, to Jenny Blake.
They're the same person.
Now, armed with that knowledge, did you then track down certain objects Jenny Blake had hidden?
I did.
And in her confession, she freely admitted these objects belonged to her?
She did.
I show you a blood-stained dress for the record submitted as Exhibit 1. Was this one of the possessions that you tracked down?
It was.
Stained with whose blood type?
The victim's D.L. Brock's.
I show you now a purse submitted as Exhibit number 2. Can you identify this purse?
It belongs to the accused.
What can you tell the court about this purse, Commissioner?
It has a bullet hole in it.
Thank you. And this plaque, submitted as Exhibit 3. Can you identify this, sir?
That plaque was found in the purse. It has a bullet embedded in it.
A bullet fired from whose gun?
D.L. Brock's.
Now, how did the bullet get there, according to the accused's confession?
She stated in her confession that Brock aimed the gun at her. There was a struggle. The gun went off. The slug hit the plaque.
According to her signed and sworn confession. Thank you. Now tell the court, if you will, sir, where did you find the objects I have just shown you?
The municipal garbage dump.
Do you know how they got there?
In her confession, she stated she put them in her garbage can.
Now, sir, you now had extremely incriminating...
No, please.
I'll take it.
No, you're not taking it.
Yes, I will. It's too cold out there. You don't have a jacket. You'll sit here and you'll wait. I'll be right back.
Did you not?
I concluded I had a solid case, yes.
Did you tell the accused you had a solid case against her?
I did.
You made it clear to her that she was trapped. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
And that is when she confessed?
Yes.
Then I ask you, in all your impressive professional experience, not only as police commissioner of Port Charles, but before that as a brilliant agent for the World Security Bureau, in your opinion, Didn't she confess solely because she knew she was trapped?
Objection, Your Honor.
It was no act of contrition, was it, Commissioner? No noble deed. She confessed because she had no choice.
Counselor.
The district attorney is asking for an opinion, for pure conjecture. The witness has no personal knowledge of the defendant's motives or state of mind.
Sustained. The question will be struck from the record. You are admonished, Mr. Morgan.
I beg the court's pardon, Your Honor. Let's just say in the heat of my fervent belief, I got carried away.
Quiet in the court.